Okay. So you can put this over 1 if you want to, times, and then you start factoring, right? How do you factor this guy?
A plus 7, A plus 1.
Yeah, this is part of the evilness of this problem. It's not evil if you know what the hell you're doing. You cross those out? Well, hell no, because they're across from each other. They're not opposites. One isn't dividing. They're both multiplying, so how could they cancel?
What problem is this again?
66.
Section point 2?
7.2, yeah. Now, I gotta try to factor the top here. Now, all right, let me show you something that if you don't get it, doesn't really matter. But if you get it, it kicks a lot of ass. So I'm gonna do this 2 different ways. I'm gonna show you a slightly new way. There's a hint in this problem. The only way that this problem is gonna have something happen is if what is a piece of this? What's gotta be down here? Either A plus 7 or A plus 1, right? And do you notice how? Yeah, so watch. I'm going to guess that 3A squared plus 14A plus 49 has an A plus 7 in it. Right? I'm not done. I got to figure out what that is. I know a lot of you guys are like, we're not allowed to guess. This is being creative and smart. I like this shit. This is going, I know what's got to happen. Let me see if it happens. If it don't happen, all right, then this thing is not going to go anywhere. And then I'll do this the other way, just to show you. You can just do this the same old way as always. You don't have to do this new little weird shit. What has to be here to make that happen? 3. What has to be here to make that happen? 7. Negative. And then if I check the middle term, 21A, bless you, minus 7A. What's 21A minus 7A?
42.
Now. If you don't see that, that's fine. You have to be able to factor this kind of thing anyway directly without guessing and using clever little things. How would I do this?
Multiply.
Yeah, 3 times negative 49. Yeah, negative 147. Factors of that make 14. Yeah, so what you can do is make 14 happen, right? So like 16 and 2, but that's way too small. Doesn't 16 minus 2 equal 14? But 16 times 2 is only 32, so I got to get bigger. So eventually I get it to 21 and negative 7. Then I can rewrite this as... I'm going to take this, break it up. I don't know if you guys remember my little suggestion. It doesn't matter which way you put those numbers, these 2 numbers here, right? It doesn't matter. But if I have a choice, I'm going to put the negative first. Because it's when there's a minus in the middle that I make a mistake. Possible, right? So I put minus 7A plus 21A. And just keep going with this. What comes out of here? A. Comes out of here. 7. So you do end up with A plus 7. 3A minus 7.
That's your final answer?
No.
No, I forgot the first equation on the problem.
Oh, this is my problem.
Yeah.
I got A plus 7 over 1 times A plus 7, A plus 1 over A plus 7, 3A minus 7. So what happens? These cancel. I like it. Or these cancel. Don't matter. There's 1 A plus 7 left alive on the top. Is that decent?
Yes.
So I knew this would pop up sometime. This is perfect to show you. If you don't get this, then screw this, right? You'll still get there if you do it, and you got to know how to do this anyway. You're not always going to have a hint, but it is nice if you're able to see there is a hint here. Let me try it. Maybe. So my answer would be that over that, right? A plus 7, A plus 1 over B minus 7. Just to remind you guys, if you let A be a number, if you let A equal 2, that's a number, that's a fraction. If you work it out, you'll get what this is when you put A equals 2 in there. That's a way to check it. We are claiming that this is that, no matter what A is. Yes?
Is this where you have to be careful about making sure it doesn't
I love it. It's perfect. Exactly in my head. As I was saying that there's one value of A you can't use, and that would be where this is equal to 0, right? That's the other kind of question in 7.1. What makes this undefined? You make the bottom 0 and say that's what makes it undefined. All right. A lot of neat stuff in that problem. Yes?
Number 60 on page 511, 7.2. 7.1.
Oh. Okay. So the point with this one is even if you simplify a problem, it doesn't suddenly lose restrictions on the domain. What do I mean by that? I mean, what was it? 8x minus 16. Now this has two instructions. It says simplify this, and then it says list all restrictions on the domain. Another way to say that is tell me what x can't be. Right? Which of course we know means list all the values that makes the bottom 0. Right? So what's the very first step, no matter what, to answer either of those? Factoring. Okay. So how do you factor the top?
X minus 2.
Of course, the bottom is just.
X minus 2.
So the mistake people make is they kill these and then they list the domain. But right now, what can x not be?
Negative 2.
X can't be 2 or negative 2.
Yes.
Just because these cancel, in fact, the one time that these cannot cancel is if x is 2. Because 0 divided by 0 is not 1 necessarily. 0 divided by 0 is freaky as shit. Right? Because what's 0 divided by anything? 0. What's anything divided by 0? Undefined or infinite. So what's 0 divided by 0? You got these, these, it's always this, it's always this. Oh, it's like, how can they be always two different things? Holy shit. So we don't even worry about it. That's why you can't cancel it and say it's only negative 2. That's weird. No, 2 is weird too. And then you cancel it. Bam! So that's what that simplifies to, but those are the two things I'm not allowed to use.
So if you plug in 2 and negative 2 for x on the bottom, it would be 0?
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay.
Now, can I plug a 2 in here? Yeah, what do you get if you plug a 2 into this?
4?
Yeah, 8 divided by 4 is 2. You get 2. But if you graph this in the calculator, it'll have an open pixel at 2. At where would that open pixel be? At 2. So at 2, it'll have a little open circle. Because that's, anyway, okay, that's not funny. I can't use 2. Why? Because it makes this bottom 0. Yes?
1 more.
Is that decent? So part of it was simplify, and the other part was what's the restrictions on the domain? What x's am I not allowed to use? Okay.
From the same section, 75.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just go to the next step here. I forgot this is one reason why I wore that shirt yesterday, and then I didn't even talk about it. Remember the shirt I wore yesterday? You all took it wrong and so forth. Now this problem is not the best one to do. If I look at this, x can't be negative 2, right? So that means at negative 2 there's going to be a wall. Yeah. And it's going to be, I always think about Star Wars. It's a trap, pull up. So it's going to do like that, or it could do like that, right? On either side. I don't know if you guys, this is, of course, called an asymptote. So vertical asymptotes are they always come from what's allowed to be used. I'm going to put a wall at the place I'm not allowed to go through. Right? Makes sense. Fortunately, nowadays, you can take it further with walls between countries and shit. I doubt Donald Trump knows much about this problem. So yeah, I put a wall at the places I'm not allowed to be. So that vertical asymptote is really just another way of saying this exact same thing. Find the values of x I'm not allowed to use. So if I had where would there be, I really shouldn't bring politics in anything because I don't know how many of you wear red hats, but if I had 2 over x plus 5, where would there be a vertical asymptote? Where would there be a wall? Yeah, so the vertical asymptote at x equal negative 5.
So that's all you have to do is just figure out how it equals 0.
Where it cannot pass that?
And let's think about, real quick, let's think about why this makes sense. What happens as I get really close to negative 5? When I get really close to negative 5, because what's the one thing I'm not allowed to use in here? Negative 5. How can I investigate what happens there then? Get really close to it, right? Now I'm not allowed to use negative 5. So let's use negative 4.9. Isn't that decently close to the negative? Am I allowed to use negative 4.9? Oh shit, yeah, because it ain't negative 5. So what is h of negative 4.9? Stay with me now. Stay with me. I'm trying to explain to you why this wall thing and why this pull up idea or go down, don't hit the damn wall. Why it makes sense. What do you get? What's negative 4.9 plus 5?
0.1. No.
What's 5 minus 4.9? $5 minus $4.90. You get a dime left, right? So it'll be 2 over 0.1. I mean, remember I had to do 2 divided by 0.1 really fast?
Move the decimal.
It's 20. Stay with me now. So that means for this thing at, here's negative 5. Negative 4.9, I'm at 20. Right? Whop! At negative 4.9, I'm at 20. Now watch if I get even closer. Let's get even closer. Negative 4.99. Is that not even closer to the weird place that I'm not allowed to get to? Right? It's like when you're a little kid and your mom says, don't go in that room. What do? Get really close. I'm not in there. I'm not in the room. Don't touch your sister. I'm not touching her. I just touched her.
0.01.
So this will be 2 over 0.01. Once, twice, 200. Won't it continue to get bigger and bigger as I get closer and closer? Isn't that going to look like this then? Yes, there you go. That's why it makes sense that at the place that makes the bottom 0, as I get closer to it, I'm going to get bigger, bigger, or bigger negative if I would have went from the other direction. But why does it make sense? What's something divided by a small thing? It's going to become big. So as the bottom becomes closer and closer to 0, the output gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why sometimes you have some teachers that call this infinite instead of undefined. Blank, maybe. But the short answer to all this is, when they ask you find the vertical asymptote, it's the exact same question as, what x values am I not allowed to use? They're the same thing, because the x values I'm not allowed to use lead to walls, lead to vertical asymptotes. Yes?
Okay, next question, number 12.
12 still in 7-1?
Yeah.
Oh. 12 was where you plug stuff in, right? So 12. Was there a specific part of that you had trouble with, or?
I think I tried to factor it.
No. You could, but this doesn't really ask you to do that. It just says, if that's the function, if that's R of t, what is R of 1? What do you do? Plug a 1 in. Now, if you factor it, and just the one thing you got to be careful about is, if like that last problem I just erased, if you factor it and you canceled, like an R minus 1, you canceled it, you might think that 1 is okay to use. When really that R minus 1 there would have said, no, you can't use it, it makes the bottom 0. Right? But if you kill it, you lose that information. That's why it's better just to plug it in. So you put a 1 on top and a 1 on the bottom in the t's, work with that fraction.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
So 55, same section.
Okay. All right. So, remind me real quick, this is going to be very timely. This has nothing to do with the question you just asked me, but it does. This is not a part of it, but it's going to lead to it. How do I factor this again?
Big dude, little dude.
Difference of cubes?
Yeah, little dude, big dude, right?
X squared.
Yeah, because that's XXX. 3, 3, 3, right?
Minus 3. 9.
Yeah, the other 2 3's go there.
And then plus 3x.
Plus.
All right. What did I say about the big dude?
You can't factor it.
Can't factor it. So in these kind of problems, like in 7.2 or 7.1, where you got to reduce and kill, factor and then kill things. You guys with me? If I have this in it and I have this in it, sometimes people go, I don't like cubes. Let me start with this one. But this is not factorable. If you factored this, it would kill this part. That would cancel with this.
Yeah.
You guys see what I'm saying? That's what's happening on that problem. I don't know if that's part of the problem you had with it. The bottom's not factorable. The top you focus on, that's the cubes. The bottom is the little dude of the top. They'll kill each other on number 55. Little spoilers.
Yeah, that's what I figured out.
So if you have a cubes in one of those kind of problems, do it first. Because the big dude might be somewhere else, and you might pull your hair out trying to factor it when big dude's impossible to factor. Yeah.
Is there a way to know just by looking at that? You can't
Totally. There's no factors of 9 that add to be 3. But students become very determined that there must be. It must be there. They're like, I must be looking at it wrong. Let me keep trying stuff. No, there's no factors of 9 that add to be 3. It's impossible. If it was 6, 3 and 3, it's always half of what it needs to be factored. Anything else from stuff before we do this quiz? All right, let's do this quiz. So go ahead and let me see. Yeah, put everything away, including calculator. No calculator.
Is there a time on the quiz? Time?
Sort of. No. Shit, no. Huh? What's up? What does that matter? You don't have anything written on the inside?
No.
No. Okay. All right. People really put a lot of work into cheating. It's crazy.
Yeah,
You did.
I've
That's
seen
good.
that somewhere online where they.
It's like, it'd be so much easier just to learn math than some of the shit that I've seen people do. I'm not giving anything away here. Start over here this time.
Labels and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Sick.
Let me see
Back in my day, you just leave it.
Yeah, good. No smartwatches.
this. Hey, Oh, yes.